Welcome back to Kamen Rider Review, episode number. Excuse me. This is episode number 15. This is discussing episode 65 through 71. Excuse me. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Keep far with it. As this review, we are only finishing up 71. I am currently 8 episodes away from finishing up the third arc of the original Kamen Rider run. 65 is simply put this. Shocker wants to recruit kids to brainwash them to Shocker ways. This episode is also noteworthy for the final appearance of Gento, the character, the little boy who's been there since episode 14. Yeah, I've been on the show for a little over a year. Excuse me. First appeared back in episode 14. That's when he first showed up. He's been there pretty much every episode since then. And then he was dropped. He basically 62. You can kind of think of that as his final appearance as a regular. This episode is here as a guest star, and then after that, never seen again. As for why he was dropped from the show, I've never found out the reason for it. It's just that he just stopped appearing. They don't mention him at all. Nope. His friends continue to appear in the show. It's like they're brought in to simply just replace him. I'm sure the actor playing Genta probably... one thing I did notice, though, he looked like he aged throughout the show. Looked like he basically had growth spurt. So he looked like he was... I think I started must have about 12-ish, maybe. So my guess is he's probably either 14 at this point. He's probably going to middle school. So they're bringing Nakuda and like one other kid. Though these episodes do want to introduce us to 2 more supporting characters who pretty much appear in these episodes. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm going to try to get those episodes. Yeah, and also when, by the way, the monster of episode 65 is a... He is a rhinoceros beetle. Yep. Yeah, he's here just as one episode. He could possibly get episode 68 as part of those revival of monsters. Yeah, he pops up there for some reason. Yeah, for some reason, they decided to have another one of these. Oh, let's just have an episode by a bunch of dead monsters. Yeah, and also that 66, 67 are noteworthy for no physical appearance by the actor who plays Kamen Rider. Why he's absent for these 2 episodes live appearing in the suit, do not know. It was interesting though, they brought back these characters for episode 66 as basically a series of revived monsters. Yes, as for the reason for this, completely unknown. What was the reason why they brought back these monsters? Yes, I'm not really sure why. It's one of the most baffling things related to Shocker. Yeah, they bring back these dead monsters for apparently for no reason. You're probably thinking, who gets brought back in 66? Well, they brought back Zojura, who was last seen back in episode... Let's see. He's actually from the Kamen vs. Shocker movie, which is interesting. Yeah, in case you saw the movie, you probably have no idea who the heck this guy is. There's Jackerman, which he himself last appeared back in episode 53. Yep. And what about Bladed Lizard Man? Yes. He last appeared back in episode 58, so it's been 8 episodes since his death. Yep. They do bring back two others. They bring back Hadrosaurus, who basically, I mean, he was fairly recent. I mean, he was back in episode 62. Yeah. And they bring it back here. And the other one was Su Long. I think for him, it's like just not that long ago. This for him, this is basically the Rhinoceros guy. This actually was his third appearance in the franchise, and this was technically his last ever appearance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the plot of 68 is simply put like, oh, let's just kidnap a random human and have the leader Shocker revive dead cyborgs. 5 of them, according to him, one person is sacrificed to basically revive 5 cyborgs. Excuse me. But given the fact that the Shocker vs. Kamen movie. Oh, by the way, so Juro, who is brought back for episode 66, he does come back again in the film we'll discuss probably in that review, and like a couple of movies, and that's it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, in case you're curious though, by 71, how many more monsters are actually left for this era of Kamen Rider? I mean, if you think about it, there is roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, only about 9 more monsters. Yes, 9 more monsters. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though basically it's all about and a whole big thing is let's kill the Kamen Rider again. Though they do destroy the Chakra Graveyard variant. I thought it was an interesting concept of Chakra Graveyard. The big dead cyborgs, but why bring back these particular cyborgs? Like these things are very recent. Well, I mean, heck, the previous movie they brought back They brought back the character Batman and Man Spider. For them, this was the first time they had physically appeared in the series in episode 13. Yes, it had been that long. But eventually, all the monsters destroyed by the very end. Now, in the case of 67, this is another appearance by Ambassador Hell. Yes. This one is basically, this is a potential appearance by the Shocker leader, who we don't see this episode. We hear him, but he does not make a physical appearance. It was suggested he was, and we show up like various people who are leaders of Shocker, like basically from the Gurja branch for Hong Kong, Singapore, Morocco. Basically, these important leaders. And they're seen briefly, and then they're never seen again. Where the heck did people come from? Don't know. Yeah. Where do they go? And we have this, it look like the Shocker leader because, well, he's wearing red. So assume this is a leader. Nope, it's just a mannequin. And the base they're in pretty much self-destructs. Yep. But we had to have a pretty good idea of what exactly the Shocker leader looks like on the exterior. But underneath it, basically, we don't know yet. We're not going to find out until the final episode. Interesting idea this one was. Now, in the case of the episode 68, we had the return of Dr. Death for his final appearance in the original run. Excuse me. And he has a monster form. Yeah, and here's the thing, though. This is the second time Master Hell does not physically appear in this episode. Now, as for why Ambassador Hell is not here, do not know, because the episode does not give an explanation of why in the heck that... Now, in the case of why in the world that the Dr. Death is here, well, just basically just reveal his squid form. Yeah, the fact he's a converted cyborg. Now, as for why in the world he was brought back, well, because, well, he's actually a pretty good villain. He's got a look to him. I mean, he's a guy who wears a white suit and sneakers along with a Dracula cape. And he's called Dr. Death for a reason. He's actually pretty good. He's actually a pretty good villain. I like the actor's dialogue, and he has a good look to him. So that's probably the reason why they brought him back twice since he left the show in episode 52. This one is basically having where they kidnap the... Now, apparently, at first we don't know he's the squid monster until like very end of the episode. So basically, we have it where Kamen fights somebody, then he has to get some training from Taki, and says, if you don't accept, I'll ask the old man. And the old man ended up training the squid basically for the thing. Yeah, he becomes a shocker trainer. Yes, and then basically during training he shows, oh yeah, his weakness is his head. Okay, because he's got a guiding system in his head. And then of course you bring up the squid monster and you bring up Doctor Death again. Like, where's the squid monster? Right here. He just undoes his cape, flips it over, and then he becomes a squid monster. And they fight for a pretty good period of time, and then he's destroyed. But this actually did have a build up to it compared to when Colonel Zol became the Golden Wolf Man. Yeah, that felt completely random at best. This actually had a build up, which I do appreciate that. It was better than this, basically how they nonchalantly made his debut. At least his accident basically was well handled. But don't worry, it comes back in V3. I'll get to that when I get to V3. But in the case of the last few episodes we're going to talk about here, episode 69, of course, which next thing that was released chronologically was the Kamen vs. Bastard Hell. I'll discuss that probably next video. Next we have, oh, this is a weird one, involving a firefly monster. No, seriously, it's a firefly monster. Mm-hmm. By the way, the monster of 67 is basically a shark monster. No, seriously is. Yeah. Actually, first is a cricket monster. This one basically involves like insects getting insects, and we have it where apparently the plan is to have people get infected with this virus. No, it's not related to real life stuff. This is back in the 70s, so it's nothing to do with that. So basically, it affects you with this red nail stuff and makes their face kind of basically covered in makeup. Yes. Though, this is by far the most weirdest plots I've ever seen. Yeah, a virus spread by a monster. Yes, it's a weird one. Now, in case you're curious, though, this is the first time? Not really, no. Now, that was simply that's kind of the plot they have for the episode. It's interesting to say the least. 71 is a horsefly monster. Actually, first, it's the firefly monster from episode 70. Yell of electricity, and it's basically they had two people to this one, Yonko and Chico, and these two are pretty much here for the rest of this era. Yep, they're pretty much brought in, and they're here to replace Emmy and Tako. Tako herself basically was dropped after the episode 69. That was her last appearance. Yes, and she was meant to replace Mika. Yeah, Mika herself, who was introduced in episode 40 and then dropped by 52. Why? Like, you have this character here for 13 episodes and then she's gone. Yes, seriously. And then Taka herself is not here very long either. Yes, it's weird though. You bring in this brand new character in the start of the story, and then by 69 she's gone. Well, she actually made her last appearance in the movie. And Yonko was here for pretty much basically, now Emmy, the other girl, also introduced in episode 40, but at least she actually, her last appearance in the main series was actually the movie, which we'll discuss later on, like I keep saying. Though the main series actually was 68. Now, as for, the people who introduced her, you basically, yeah, there's this character named Yuri. Yes, Yuri. She is here for pretty much the other two are pretty much brought in as, like, how should I put this? Basically, they're brought in as basically, like, it's weird though that Yuri is the only one who actually stays. And throughout the entire run, and she was in episode 14, and she misses 1, 2, 3 episodes. Yeah, 3 episodes out of a lot. It's weird though they basically like they bring these characters in. A lot of them just simply are dropped from the series for no explanation. I have no idea why, But that's simply what the thing with him is. Yep. And the whole thing with this one, drain electricity. Now, in the case of 71, this is more of an interesting style one. It's a bit more international, this one, where we have FBI agent from Mexico, of all places. Yes, apparently the FBI and Kamen are more than just the United States. They apparently have branches in Mexico and not only U.S. and Japan, but also Mexico as well, which is interesting to say the least. Because so I think, oh yeah, this guy is this member Shocker. He's tailing. And turns out he's actually correct, but he's not just an ordinary Shocker member. Oh no, he is an actual Shocker Cyborg. Basically, he is a, get this, he's a horsefly monster. Agamanos. And he's here just for this episode. And then he's never seen again. Never revived. Nope, never revived. Yeah, apparently I think like 66 and like the Kamen Rider versus Master Hell movie, that was the last times in the main series we had like a series of revivals. You know, like bringing back dead monsters. Yes. Now, basically, none of these episodes are terrible per se. It's we're basically continuing moving the plot along pretty quickly, and we're definitely getting through this series, like I said, pretty quickly too. But I'm enjoying this so far, and we're getting almost done with this particular run. So even though yes, the arc has got 8 episodes left to go, and you're probably thinking, how many episodes is left to go for the season? The answer is 27. Yep, 27 left. So I'll probably do another video probably later on when I do more episodes of this. That if I can time after my stream tonight. If not, I'll probably save it for tomorrow, along with my review for Harem and the Labyrinth of Another World. And also, if I get time, I'll probably work on Revolution. Okay, next video. Bye.